Imagine you already know you're going to lose. 100,000 soldiers, 300 men. Now imagine you go anyway. Not because you think you can win, but because not going was never an option. That's what courage actually looks like. Not the absence of fear, not the certainty of victory. It's the choice made quietly, deliberately, to stand in the gap when everyone else has already stepped back. History doesn't remember the ones who waited for better odds. It remembers the ones who moved when the math said don't. Because some things are worth more than survival. Some moments demand that you show up, fully, completely, even if no one is watching. Especially if no one is watching.
It was 480 BC. The Persian Empire was marching west toward Greece. Leonidas chose the Hot Gates, a narrow coastal pass where numbers meant nothing. He brought 300 of his royal guard, every one of them a father. This was deliberate. Leonidas chose fathers because men with children fight with something beyond themselves. He also chose them knowing almost none would come home. Think about what that means. These weren't soldiers ordered into a meat grinder. They were chosen. They volunteered. They kissed their children goodbye and marched toward a battle they were never meant to survive. The Stoics called this amor fati, love of fate. The refusal to waste energy wishing reality were different. Not accepting what comes, that's too passive. Loving it. Trusting that the hard thing in front of you is exactly the hard thing you were built for. Leonidas didn't ask for a different enemy, a larger army, more time. He took the pass he had, the men he had, the moment he had, and he held it.
The night before the battle, a spy reported to Xerxes that the Spartans were grooming their hair, telling jokes. Xerxes was baffled. He delayed his attack for 4 days. He couldn't understand men who were not afraid. But they were afraid. That's the part we get wrong. Fear wasn't absent in that camp. It was everywhere, sitting beside every fire, sharing every meal. They just didn't negotiate with it. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is action in the presence of fear. The Spartans understood something most people spend their whole lives avoiding. The moment of crisis is the wrong time to decide who you are. You decide before, in the quiet, in the training, in the 1,000 small choices no one is watching you make. They had already answered the question long before Xerxes asked it. What will you do when fear comes for you? The Spartans didn't find that answer at the Hot Gates. They brought it with them. That's not bravery born in a moment. That's a life built on purpose, so that when the moment arrived, there was nothing left to decide.
For 3 days, the Spartans held the pass. Wave after wave of Persian soldiers broke against their shields. The elite immortals, Xerxes' most feared warriors, were repelled again and again. Then came the betrayal, a hidden path, a way around. One man sold the route for silver.
And just like that, 3 days of impossible defiance had an expiration date. Leonidas received the news. He could still retreat. He could still live. He looked at the pass, at his men, at everything they had already given, and he stayed. Not out of recklessness, not because he had run out of options. He stayed because some exits cost more than staying ever could. He stayed because the moment you begin calculating whether your duty is worth it, it no longer is. He died there on the 3rd day, doing exactly what he came to do. History has buried 1,000 kings who chose comfort over the moment that asked everything of them. We don't say their names, but we say his. 25 centuries later, we still say his, because he understood something that cannot be taught, only lived. Duty is not what you do when it's easy. It's what you do when every reason to stop is standing right in front of you.
Leonidas lost. By every military measure, the battle was a defeat. 300 men dead, the pass taken, the army gone. And yet, Thermopylae didn't end Greek resistance. It ignited it. Word spread of what 300 men had done, of how long they held, of how they died, not fleeing, not surrendering, facing forward. A year later, the Greek armies defeated Persia. Western civilization survived. The world we inherited, democracy, philosophy, reason, law, passed through that narrow coastal pass in 480 BC. Leonidas didn't live to see any of it. He died not knowing. He never learned whether it mattered, whether the line held, whether Greece survived. He walked into that final morning with no promise of outcome, only the weight of what he knew was right. This is perhaps the deepest Stoic lesson. Not discipline, not endurance, not even courage. This. You do your duty not because you are guaranteed to see the outcome. You do your duty because it is yours to do. The outcome was never the point. The point was the man who showed up, fully, completely, without condition, when the moment asked him to. History needed someone to hold that pass. Leonidas didn't wait to be certain, he just held it. And somewhere, in every generation since, someone has faced their own narrow pass, their own impossible odds, their own morning with no guarantees, and they remembered, even without knowing his name, that it has been done before, that it can be done, that duty carried without condition is never truly lost, even when the one who carried it doesn't live to see it land.
Leonidas is remembered, not because he won, not because he survived, not because history was kind to him. History wasn't even watching yet. He is remembered because he showed up, fully, without negotiation, without a guarantee, just a man, a pass, and a choice that he had already made long before the moment asked him to make it. 25 centuries, that's how long this story has refused to die. Not because it's a war story, but because it's your story. The past changes, the enemy changes, the odds change, but the question is always the same. Will you show up? Not when it's easy, not when the outcome is certain, not when the crowd is watching and the odds are in your favor. Will you show up when it costs you something? That's what Thermopylae was really about. Not 300 men, but the one choice, available to every human being who has ever lived, to meet your moment without flinching. History doesn't remember the comfortable. It remembers the ones who decided. quietly and completely, that some things were worth the price. Be one of those people. Subscribe.